fans, welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner, Top Shelf Selection of June 2011. I'm your host as always, Cammy. Now let's get right into it because this book is gargantuan. It is Lucille and it is written and illustrated by Ludovic Debeurme. It was originally published back in 2006 in French, because the author-creator being from France himself, and it's just now getting translated to English. And also, earlier this year, he came out with a sequel to this book called Renee, and since it's already out in France, it's going to be a couple of years, I'm guessing, just to get it translated to English, but I'm sure Top Shelf will be there to publish it when it does. But basically, we follow the main character, Lucille. She is a young adult, and she kind of has some low self-esteem and body image issues. And then, because of it, she decides to become anorexic. And so it gets so bad that she has to go to the hospital at one point because they need to give her nutrients, like in juice form, and she thinks it's horrible, tastes like puke. She just wants to be beautiful, and she thinks being really ultra skinny is going to cause that because, again, when she looks in the mirror, she doesn't see someone, you know, a nice average size. She sees a chubby McChubberson. And so she doesn't want to be that chubby McChubberson. Say that 5 times fast. And meanwhile, while this is going on, we are introduced to another young adult named Arthur. And he is the son of an alcoholic fisherman. And his dad has been known to just have the bar as his primary home. And it's usually Arthur's job to go and fetch his dad when it's time for dinner. His family is kind of a broken one almost. It doesn't help that dad's an alcoholic, and his dad is hoping that he's going to follow him into the fishing trade, but Arthur doesn't want to go out fishing. The smell of the sea makes him sick. He just wants to go off and do his own thing, and he comes off as a little weird as well too, because he's telling people their futures, that they're sacrifice a little bit, drop of blood to the devil, his master. That's how he kind of has his fun. But at one point, both Arthur and Lucille meet. Well, first at the hospital, but secondly when Arthur is making medicine deliveries and he delivers to her home, they kind of get to talking, and then just on a whim they say, let's hang out together. And it comes to one point during this book, because there are so many twists and turns that I did not see coming. A word to the wise, if your father ever tells you to go out for and get him a 6-pack of beer, don't do it. I'm not going to spoil why, but it was very shocking what happened next. But Arthur is done with this life. He doesn't want to be named Vladimir, because that's what happens if all along his line of family, as soon as their dad dies and then the next dad, they always take on the name of the father, and it's Vladimir in this case. So Arthur goes to Lucille, says, hey, let's run away together. Let's just go to Italy. Let's leave France behind us. And so they do. Lucille, even though she's still not eating and still kind of anorexic and very fragile, she decides to go along with them. And because she kind of likes this boy. And the only way that he gets her to, eat a little bit of the puke juice, as she calls it, is to, promise herself, like, okay, well, if you're having a fun time, please, for me, have some more for me. And so you do get that nice little connection, and they get to explore a little bit about what being a young adult's all about. And they find themselves at a family winery at the end, and then something kind of goes amiss at the winery, which causes them to go back on the run again. And then it kind of leaves us with a very shocking cliffhanger as well. So I'm not going to get into it too much. All I need to tell you is that this is a very, very good selection. Top Shelf, they can find these stories somehow. I don't know how Chris Staros does it, but which ones they decide, hey, let's take a chance on this, or hey, let's give this creator the spotlight. But I'm very glad that they stumbled across Lucille because what Debeurme is doing is just fantastic stuff. I can't wait to read Renee. I almost want to learn French just so I could read it before it is translated into English, because I think it'd be quicker for me to do so learning another language. But that's your selection for the month of June. If you want more Top Shelf comics, you can check out www.topshelfcomics.com. And if you want to see past reviews of Top Shelf selections, check out www.cammyscomicorner.com. I release one at the end of every month, and at the start of the month, you get the book of the month. And then every Sunday, you get the weekly review show, and every Wednesday, you get the audio show, Geeky Talkie. So that does it for the month of June. I can't wait to see what I'm going to choose in July. Hail! Just give me a tweet on Twitter at CamComicCorner if you have a Top Shelf selection book that I haven't covered yet and you'd like to see reviewed. So, until then, this has been Cammy's Comic Corner, Top Shelf Selection. I've been your host, Cammy. Take it easy, and don't go get your dad a 6-pack.